could make a contribution to the O'Farrell-Stoner government. Throughout my career, it would be remiss of me if I did not owe a debt of gratitude to those many I have served under and served with, my brothers and sisters in blue. To the member for Campbelltown, it was nice to serve with you on the streets, and it's once again nice to serve with you in this House. Although your claims to entry rank privilege in this area, I think, has been thwarted, old mate, by another in another place, and that would be the Honourable Michael Gallagher. Colleagues who have played a poignant part in my career are many, but a couple who have stood out include retired Senior Assistant Commissioner Peter Walsh, APM. You, sir, were and remain a role model to me and have always supported me, particularly in my community service. Sometimes that operated outside the square, but it didn't matter to you. You freely and generously gave of your time, wisdom and advice, which was always premised with, Troy boy, you never run in a marathon. Never sprint in a marathon, sorry. That was quickly followed usually by a short uppercut to my ribs. To Senior Constable Jason Williams, to you, I owe you my life. Your courage when we were attacked to risk your own safety after I was stabbed, to give me another chance to fight on and fight back for my life early one December morning in 1993, without fear of further harm to yourself, gives us a bond for life and a debt I cannot properly repay. Despite the odds of 12 verse 2, Jason, we did pretty well, old mate. To Inspector Matthew Lynch and Senior Constable Michael Eaton, you both epitomise the very best qualities to which any police officer could aspire. You inspire me with your tenacity, integrity and your service to your communities and support of your colleagues is second to none. Mr Deputy Speaker, as I have had my front row seat, it is particularly over the last 16 years I have witnessed an evolution and a growth of this gigantic labyrinth of a governmental monster of sorts, that with its vicious regulatory tentacles it has stripped life from those it is charged to protect and service. It has been consuming and feeding on the very spirit of those it was charged to serve. It has been gluttonous in its waste of public monies and resources. It is a monster in need of a new master. The monster needs a master that will reinstall into our bureaucracy a focus to serve others before self, an opportunity to serve outside of the current silos of its domain, and with the clearest of focus of putting our community first. Mr Deputy Speaker, I seek an extension.
The question is that the member's time be extended. All of that opinion say aye.
Aye.
To the contrary, no. I think the ayes have it. The ayes have it. Please proceed.
Thank you, Mr Deputy Speaker. The member for Baulkham Hills, David Elliott, shared this view in his inaugural speech, and I wholeheartedly agree. The bureaucracy has to function from a decentralised base to ensure that in delivering service, that the very diverse needs across our great state are met with an equal diversity of service delivery. I do not speak of this challenge with any naivety, nor lay the blame for our situation at the feet of our tireless public servants themselves, and I know that the answers are not out of reach, but it is a challenge we can overcome, as has been demonstrated from nearly a century ago. Mr Deputy Speaker, the Sydney Morning Herald on the 26th of April 1915 printed a submission from Sir George Stephenson Beebe, and it read, "Opponents of the present Labor government must find some progressive ground of union, not a concession of faith on every conceivable political theme, but a fighting platform dealing with essentials and offering sane and definite progressive legislation, in contrast to the ill-considered experiment with which we are further threatened. Much that the Labor Party professes to want to do must be done. The trouble is that, in doing it, present governments adopt methods which lower the tone of public life, which weaken individuals' sense of social responsibility, which kill initiative and enterprise, and which intensifies sentiments of intolerance and class hatred. No party can take the place of the present governing power unless it is prepared to aim for a better equalisation of opportunity and the creating of new opportunities. let us realise that the changing needs and aspirations of a community compel changes in politics and platforms, and that the present dangerous and degrading system of government into which we have drifted can only be abolished by a union of opposing elements on a common democratic basis. Mr Deputy Speaker, on the 26th of March 2011, New South Wales realised that union. What is alarming and where I believe the greatest challenge for our new government lays is how do we prevent what developed some 96 years ago and found itself reincarnated over the last 16 years from plaguing our state into the future? How did we let the pursuit for equal employment and other equity opportunities leave behind the pursuit of and maintenance of personal responsibility and accountability? How did our state have that Groundhog Day feeling despite our society's innovations and progress? How did we come so far yet go nowhere in respect to the chilling portrayal of government in 1915? How do we, post the 26th of March, make good the union that has been achieved? This very day, for this very government, I believe the answer lays in 3 words: opportunity, unity and leadership. John C. Maxwell wrote, "A leader knows the way, shows the way and goes the way." I believe that all the members of this parliament are leaders. It is not about being the leader. For me, it is about being a leader. We all have a role to play, and where I believe we have gone wrong and where the challenge lays is to ensure that our leadership for our communities is authentic. Our communities, as I have grown tired likewise, are sick of spin doctors, sick of a lack of transparency, and are no longer prepared to be apathetic or tolerate being taken for a ride, particularly by those who serve themselves before others. As we demonstrate that leadership, I believe we must pursue unity within our communities, seek a unity of purpose, a unity of aspiration, and in that unity, an equality of initiative and enterprise. If we are able to achieve these outcomes, we have before us an opportunity to chase new horizons, an opportunity for both regional New South Wales and my electorate of Dubbo as examples to be at the heart of government, at the heart of growth, and be a major contributor to our total state's prosperity. My electorate of Dubbo has set the scene for bush laureates to talk of the Mulga Bill. It has been the home of much of the bushranger heritage that has shaped our history. It's home and has been vision of man first walking on the moon across the world from the dish. It is home to the man who builds the Queen's carriages. It is a community that is a nursery for our nation's sporting champions. It is also home to the Taronga Western Plains Zoo, the world's leading conservationist, with initiatives such as creating the world's first rhino in vitro fertilisation program in order to save a species that has walked our earth longer than mankind. We are home to the natural logistic road and railway hubs that can provide our state and our country with the food and fibre transport routes we require to live and prosper, yet has been denied any investment. This is a small snapshot of the enterprise that the Dubbo electorate offers New South Wales, but this is the initiative enterprise that has been stymied over the last 16 years and sadly reflects where our state was in 1915. This example also demonstrates the opportunity that we now have, that with a unity of community and with authentic leadership, I believe we can and will rectify this situation. We must now grapple with the challenges of government to change that situation and no longer let our communities wait 9 years for failed delivery on health infrastructure and services as an example. We can no longer deny a city of our communities readily available access to cancer and cardio treatment that can be found more readily in some third world countries. We no longer need to deny vital infrastructure that is required for our state's growth because we have been out of sight and out of mind. There are many challenges that must be met. Many of them will require authentic desire from all members of this chamber to achieve. The challenges and the answer to those challenges do not have to be complicated, do they not all lie as a mystery waiting to be discovered into the future? Many of the answers may well be lessons from the past methods and systems from a tried and true era. Mr Deputy Speaker, in conclusion, I would not be standing here today if it wasn't for the amazing efforts of my campaign team and so many wonderful supporters and volunteers. I thank them from the bottom of my heart for putting so much effort into steering me into this chamber. I cannot name all those responsible, but my heartfelt thanks in particular to the Honourable Andrew Stoner and Duncan Gay, to my federal colleagues Mark Colton, Senator John Wacker-Williams, Senator Fiona Nash, John Cobb. I say thank you. To all of the former Shadow Cabinet and now Ministers, particularly to the Premier and the Minister for Health for your support, I truly say thank you. I thank the Premier for the trust and faith that he has placed in me as Parliamentary Secretary for Natural Resources, and I pledge to the Minister, Katrina Hodgkinson, and to all those stakeholders who have welcomed me since my appointment, my absolute commitment to this portfolio to ensure we achieve sustainable, pragmatic and appropriate quality water and natural resource outcomes for all of our communities, our state and our country. To the Honourable Ian Armstrong, your guidance to me has been invaluable, and I thank you for helping me bring back the soapbox and grassroots campaigning. To the National State team, I am indebted for the professionalism and support of the outstanding State Director Ben Franklin, State Chairman Christine Ferguson and all of their magnificent team. In return, I pledge to you today to lead the way in ensuring that our regional communities never have reason to return to the isolation of independence. I have to pay special mention to Nathan Quigley and Douglas Martin, my wingmen, but more so to Nathan. To the two men who started me on this incredible journey, seeking me out and encouraging me and my family, to Bluey Lions, thank you. And also to you, the Honourable Thomas George. Thomas, you are without doubt the very best example of a man any aspiring politician can look up to. God bless you. Throughout my life, I've looked around at times for inspiration, and I've found that inspiration in many strange places. Three people who have inspired me, but are definitely not strange, beyond any worthy recognition are my children's godparents, Tony Studholme, Kath McKenna and Shelley Clark. You are a constant reminder to me of how much capacity a person has to give to another, and I thank you and your families for playing such a special role in my life. Two gentlemen I wish to acknowledge who know least about my life but have provided me the most by way of footings from which I could pursue this endeavour, and for who I will always be grateful, Mr Tim Manning and Police Inspector Phil Shepherd. All those who stand in this chamber, I'm sure, would agree that we wouldn't be here and it wouldn't be possible without the unbelievable support of so many volunteers and helpers and the existence of a close campaign team who share your vision and total commitment to the cause, in my case over 9 long months. I had the closest of teams, and in my campaign manager, Peter Bartley, I had a campaign manager without peer. Peter Tremble, your generosity and unmeasurable support of me will never be forgotten. Special thanks also to Pauline Trevor McAllister and new kids on the block, Kirby Dunlop, Belinda Strayhorn, Matt Goodwin and Catherine Wheeler. I share with others, and I'm sure that my greatest pride lays with my own family. To my kids, Taylor, the most honest, forthright, kind-hearted daughter a father could wish for. My butterfly, you have me wrapped right around your little finger, and that's just the way I like it. To my little man Hamish, the future Socceroo, I'm sure, you simply make me so very proud every single day. To my best friend and soulmate, my wife Tony, who has shared all the ups and downs of life with a police officer can bring, you have held my hand through my greyest of skies, you have steadied me at the foot of my greatest challenges, and you have lit my heart at the darkest times. If I had achieved nothing else in life other than to be your husband, that would have been enough. The very faith and trust that has been placed in me by my electorate, my friends and family, is a faith and trust I will work hard to repay every day as I stand in this House. I thank the House.